All right, guys. We are back. We are back. We are live. We're back to the grind. How's everyone doing today? Good morning to all the familiar faces. Thank you for coming back. Thanks for not abandoning the stream. Looks like we have a similar amount of people coming back, so that's good to see. Hope everyone had a good close of last week and a good yesterday. Looks like I definitely missed out on some big moves yesterday. Some really nice moves. Amazon, big one. We'll definitely look at that today, and a few others that were really, really nice. So strong NASDAQ. Another big move higher. Yeah, it has been some crazy trading days, right, Sam? That's all right. Sometimes that vacation can sort of get you ready for some big moves, get your mindset right. So I'm back from Vegas. It was a good time. Good time with some friends. Didn't get too crazy. I mean, we definitely had a good time. We saw the Chainsmokers at the Encore, and we saw Kygo, which was also at Encore, actually, surprisingly. So it was a good time. Very fun. First time there. The heat there is no joke. If anyone is from Vegas or is familiar with the dry heat in Vegas, it was like 110 degrees. I think at one time. Damn, it was hot. Very different than Florida heat. Florida heat's a little bit more humid and not as intense. Vegas heat is very intense. It sort of feels like you're under a heat lamp. But it was fun. We are back and back to the grind. So, miss your voice while trading, telling myself it's riding the 90 MA. Yeah, Danny, I'm back. I'll be in the chat today. So let's go ahead and just get started. We got some stuff to catch up on. So let's go ahead and do it. So first off, here is the schedule. So as you guys know, when I was gone, I was in the airport when this news was released. Affirm and Amazon. I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with it. I was in Vegas in COVID, in Zombieland. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with what's going on with Affirm and Amazon. Some really, really big moves across those two names. Affirm made most of its move in the after hours when the news was released, and Amazon just caught up yesterday, right? So I think that news was released on Friday. Was it Friday after hours? Pretty sure it was Friday after hours. And then you get that big move up to 100 on Affirm. Held up yesterday. We'll take a look at it. Amazon, huge move, and Amazon is above the level that I wanted to see it for a potential gap fill. So if you guys are in Amazon, could be some really big opportunity coming here, and this is sort of what we've been watching. So we'll take a look at those two. Zoom earnings came out yesterday. Not that great for Zoom. I think it dropped back down to some really important support, so we're going to have to look at Zoom today. Do some technicals on it and just get a feel for what's going on. Penn, took my profits yesterday on Penn up almost 100%. Hit 85, the 85 price target we had. It hit like 84.60, and it started to get some really strong resistance. So I wanted to get out of that, take my profits, and reassess if it goes over 85 with some strength. And of course, I can get back into it. But I wanted to close some profits on that to offset some of my losses, as you guys probably know, on Netflix right now. So I'm losing on Netflix. Netflix is still very strong, surprisingly very strong. It sort of took me by surprise, but that's how it works. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. I was, as of right now, wrong on Netflix, but still pushing through some resistance levels. Looks relatively strong, honestly, right now. So going to continue to watch on it. Risk is limited. Penn definitely making up for it. And also we had PayPal yesterday, which is making up for it, which we will look at today. PayPal inverse head and shoulders on the daily chart, as you guys know, may or may not know. PayPal came out with news that they may be creating a trading platform, I believe. I don't know why I'm questioning myself whether that was. I think that's what it was. Getting back to the grind here is a lot to catch up on. When you watch the market every day, you can really stay in sync. Every stock that's moving. This morning, playing a little bit of catch up, but I think I still have a good sync with the market right now. PayPal exploring stock trading platforms. So That's very interesting. That is very, very interesting. Stock trading platform on PayPal. Not sure how they figure that out or work on that, but strong catalyst, and it pushed it through some important resistance. So let's look at PayPal today. Was it just a futures trading platform, really? Trey? I have to look more into it. Timing is crucial. Now I'm going to look at Facebook for timing is crucial. That's just sort of a headline of the what we're going to talk about, and it's going to be on Facebook. As you guys know, I had a Facebook contract that expired last week. I didn't roll that contract into this week, which was a great idea. I think it's up. Let me see 1 second. I'll look at it right now. It is up as of yesterday. It was a great day for it. It is up yesterday. Total return 183%. So I did lose on I lost about 60% on my Facebook contract that expired last week. I went ahead and closed that and moved it into this week, and have been able to make up most of those losses. I'm still not 100% green net on both positions net, but I was able to make up $110 of it, 183% yesterday on Facebook. I rolled it into this week expiration. So Facebook looking really good, and that's just an example of timing being so crucial with option contracts, because I was a little bit early and I didn't take enough time on that contract, which is my bad on that. Another learning lesson. But just taking more time, having that time with your contracts can be so crucial, because our analysis was spot on Facebook. Facebook hitting new highs. We were getting into that position, anticipating new highs, and it did go ahead and happen, but it just happened a little bit too late for my contract. So timing and getting time on your contracts has definitely been something that has been very important here. Trying to time some of these bounces. So we'll look at Facebook. Yeah, Apple's another one that went crazy, Sam. That one looks good. MACD on Roku. I want to show you guys something I'm starting to see on Roku. Starting to curl back higher on the MACD, trying to get some buying pressure. This is one that's still very lagging. Roku is still lagging very hard of the overall market. NASDAQ is pushing through all-time highs. Roku is having a lot of trouble. So could this be an opportunity in the future? Potentially, and I'm keeping an eye on it. Next, we look at Spotify. You guys know we've been watching Spotify because of some of the Discord members that are in it. Moving back up to a downtrend, and we'll look at that again. It's doing really, really well over the last few days. And then after that, we will look at some of the stocks that you guys want to look at, some of the members. If you guys are a member, make sure to go to the pinned post up top, the blue post. Make sure to press on that. And go ahead and submit your tickers. All I have right now is from Devin, and he says Tesla baby. So we will look at Tesla, Devin. If you're the only member that puts a ticker there, then we will look at some of the stocks that the chat want to look at. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start this stream. It's the last stream of August. That's unbelievable. I can't believe how fast these weeks are going. So futures, did I have futures on there? Yeah, I did. So futures, as always, guys, NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow. Now, here's the first thing I want to show you on the NASDAQ. I don't know, some of you may not really trade with the MACD. I don't that much, but I do sometimes look at it to see, where the trend, where the buying pressure is, if it's starting to come in, and where's the trend starting to form. And you can see that over the last few weeks, or the last few days, when the NASDAQ was sort of going sideways here in this channel, before this big push higher, the MACD was slowly moving lower, and it was sort of red on the bottom here, the red bars. You can see it was losing that momentum, losing that buying pressure. And the last time we got that move that was back to green on the MACD right here, this was back in May. You can see that crossover, the MACD crossover. That started a pretty nice move. That started a move that lasted almost 2 months of higher movement. And you can see that's where that MACD crossed over. Now we got the negative crossover here back in July, and that sort of caused a little bit of sideways action. And if you notice what's happening right now, we are starting to get that MACD crossover. For some reason ticker sheet isn't working. That's strange. It's working for other people, but I'll write it down for you, Elaine. Fiverr. I'll look it down. I'll write it down for you. So you can see in the NASDAQ, we are starting to get that crossover. So does this show you that maybe this is the start to a bigger move? Potentially. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. I just wanted to bring that up for you guys today. Yeah, I did want to quickly go over some of the earnings real quick, guys. Before we get any deeper into this, I quickly want to show you guys any earnings reports that are coming out this week. So what do we got this week? Zoom. That's really all I know there. What is that? Is that CrowdStrike? I can't even see it. I can't see it. Chewy. What else? DocuSign Thursday. Broadcom. Hewlett Packard. HP. Nothing that big. Nothing that big. What is that right there? I can't read that symbol. I don't think that's CrowdStrike. It actually might be though. Does anyone know? Sorry if you let me see if I can find that somewhere else. Okay, here I can see it a little closer. No, it's not CrowdStrike. One second, guys. This one I might be able to see a little better. No, still blurry. Alright, never mind. It is CrowdStrike? Yeah, I think it is. That's the symbol. Alright, cool. I guess I know my symbols. Alright, so yeah, so that is CrowdStrike tomorrow. That's actually an interesting one. So we'll definitely look at that tomorrow. Alright, but anyways, let's go ahead and get back into this. So NASDAQ, really nice push yesterday. Let's go to the 30-minute chart, and we can see some of these moves higher, some of these stair steps. So the NASDAQ has been able to stair step insanely nicely lately. I mean, we had some really strong consolidation back over this last week. Remember, we were watching this week saying how we're starting to find a little resistance here. Is this the top, or are we going to break through? And you can see on Friday of last week a very nice stair step pattern through it. So you can see resistance and a big stair step through that level. So we never retested this previous resistance. So right here, we never retested that. I thought maybe we would fail here, come back down to retest, and then push higher. But you guys can see that it did not retest this level, this 15,170. We never pulled back. We pulled back slightly, but we didn't get the full retest. So we got a big breakthrough now. You can see big breakthrough. And now the strong support could be around the 15,380, which is great. You're stair-stepping higher, and you're creating new higher support levels. So at this point, you guys can see this morning, we are bouncing off of this 15,568. A very nice bounce. We came back down to it pre-market. That is where the market started to find some support on yesterday morning. You guys can see we pushed up, found some support yesterday morning around this 15,560. We came back down to it this morning. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you guys can see this even more clear. Here's this morning. You can see a pre-market dip to this 15,568. A very nice bounce off of it. At this point, if you're very, very bullish here, if you want to see more continuation, you definitely want to try to see if this 568 can hold. 15,568, that would be an important hold. If you can get another bounce off that level, that would be big. If we break that level, then I would be, just a little bit cautious. You do have a very big move higher on the NASDAQ yesterday morning, so not much structure in this area here. This whole area right here is what I'm referring to. This whole big move higher. Not much structure in that area. So if you get a dip below this support level that has proven itself this morning, you might see some downside. But that does not mean in any means that this is bearish at all. This is a very bullish move. Very nice stair steps higher. And we just need to see where we find some support, pull back, find some more buyers, and try to move this thing higher. So overall, very strong NASDAQ. Congratulations to anyone that caught any of these moves. There are definitely some moves out there. So let's go ahead and look at them. So that's the NASDAQ. The ES, very similar on the ES. You guys can see if we go out to the hourly chart, this was the level that I was watching actually on the ES, and we did pull back to that level, not like we pulled back to it on the NASDAQ, right? So we were looking at this 44.63 level as a retest, and you can see on the SPY, this was actually a very, very clean retest. Let me take off this MACD because I'm not really using it. It's just getting in the way. So this on the SPY was a very clean retest. This is sort of like what I was wanting to see on the NASDAQ. So you can see the NASDAQ didn't quite retest this 15,140 back down to here. I was looking for this, right? On the ES, we got that exact retest, which is very clean. Look how strong this bounce on Friday was off this ES level. Very strong bounce there off that 44.63, and we can see a very strong move higher off of it. So very nice, very strong retest, very bullish in my opinion. At this point, you want to see if this level holds, this previous high, right around 44.95, and then you have some structure in the market around this 45.10. So some levels to watch to the downside today. Overall, very bullish. Coming back into the charts today. Very nice formations. So if we go to the 5-minute chart, similar to the NASDAQ, you guys can see we are slightly below this pre-market after-hour support around 45.25. That would have been nice to hold. That is similar. This level right here is similar to the support on the NASDAQ right here, right? So you have this 15,568 on the NASDAQ. That is similar to this support here on the ES, which we are slightly below right now. So we do want to see if we can find some support in this area, because between 45.10, which is right here, and 45.25, there isn't much structure, right? It's just this straight move higher, which doesn't prove to be much support usually when you have that quick of a move higher, right? So let's see. We are selling off a little bit right now. We could see a move back to this 45.10. That is possible. If it does, I would assume that you get a very strong support here because you have a lot of structure in the market at 45.10. So I'd watch that. That's 451 on the SPY. 451 on the SPY, yeah. 453 is resistance. 453, you're saying SPY rejected 453 4 times. So 453 on the SPY is 4,500, 4,530 on the ES. So YM, Dow, if we go to let's go to the daily chart, because I haven't looked at the daily chart on the Dow. You guys can see we are finding some resistance here at previous highs. We still are not through highs on the Dow, right? So you have clear rotation. Look at the NASDAQ. You can see the NASDAQ breaking through highs, ES breaking through highs. The Dow has not been able to break through highs. The Dow has been sort of lagging right now. You guys can see clear rotation potentially out of some of these Dow stocks, clear underperformance on the Dow. So that is something to take into consideration. If the Dow pulls back to the 20 SMA, which is not too far off, maybe another 0.3%, maybe you get a bounce off of that 20 SMA back towards these 35,530 highs. So Dow, something to remember, Dow underperformance. Looks like it's a little bit more about the tech stocks right now. Strong moves on the NASDAQ and the ES. Some important levels that we can pull back to. Overall, market looks to be in very good shape. Looks very bullish still in my opinion. It's just a matter of finding those pullbacks, getting a feel for when the market's a little overextended, when it could use maybe a 1 or 2% pullback, and then taking advantage of that bounce. So that's my view on the futures right now. I'm thinking they're looking very good. I definitely have some levels to the downside that I'm watching, and we can see if we can catch any opportunities off of it. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into Affirm and Amazon. So these two making a deal. This is a big deal for Affirm. That is why you saw this monster gap up. You guys can see I was looking at some levels that clearly don't matter anymore, at least down at this point, because I did not expect a gap up like we saw here on Affirm. So let me go to the 4-hour chart. We can see this a little bit better. So Affirm, my first mindset when I think about Affirm, when I'm thinking about, logically what could happen here is why is Affirm not at, not above IPO highs, right? After making a deal with Amazon, would you think that it should be higher than where it was at this point in time? I would assume yes, because this is a very big deal for this company, and this is something they did not have going for them before when the stock was at $146. Now, this move up to $146 was likely very due to a lot of IPO hype. There was a lot of FOMO into the name, a lot of people trying to buy this IPO, maybe looking for a big runner. So that could be a little bit of an overvalued price for this stock, which it probably is because you can see the sell-off that occurred. Looks like the fair value came in around, the $60, $70 level. But at this point, this is a very big breakout. There's going to be some volatility in this. The news is still sort of getting digested, in my opinion. It's not going to just, happen overnight. However, this is not a stock to forget about, and this is not a move to forget about. This could definitely move again. We got a little bit of consolidation yesterday. Yesterday was the first actual market open day that we saw some price action for this move, because most of this move happened in the after hours, right? So does Affirm pull back to 84? I would like to see that. However, do I realistically think it's going to pull back? I'm a little bit cautious that I don't know if we even get that pullback, right? So 84 would be fantastic because that would be a beautiful break and retest, and that would open up a huge buying window for people that missed this move if it was able to pull back to 84, because that is a very strong previous level here. So if we get that pullback to 84, that could be a huge buying opportunity. However, do I think we get into that 84? I'm not sure. I do like where you're finding resistance. It's a clear resistance level from the past. So if we put a little red box here on the chart, this is a very clear resistance level from the past. And I'm happy to see it finding resistance there because it's respecting technical analysis, respecting technical levels. Right back here, during when the IPO first came out, you can see some previous support around this 103, 100 level. And you can see when it came back into that here, we got a very strong rejection once again. So at this point, we know a break of this 103 could create another move, potentially back up towards these highs of around 123. And then who knows, guys, maybe back up to the 146s. Those would be the levels I'm watching to the upside for, the next resistance points. 123s, 141s, 145s, right in that area. You can see, actually, 146 is just as wick high. So I'm thinking maybe 140s and 120, the low 120s would be your next two potential resistance points here on Affirm if we can break through this previous support that is clearly turning into resistance here on the 4-hour chart. If we go to the 5-minute, we can see that that red box is still there, and it's very clear that it is some resistance. So you have yesterday resistance, and then we started making lower highs throughout the day, right? So if we can get above here, right? If we can get above that, maybe retest it and push higher, this could be a beautiful move on AFRM, and I would definitely be watching that. So Affirm looks good, has the news catalyst. Let's see if there's continuation. On the other side of that deal came Amazon, and Amazon finally moved up above 3,400, which is huge in my opinion. So, we definitely called this one out. I think everyone across the market was calling this one out, right? This was a pretty clean potential recovery on Amazon. Very strong support here around 3,200, and a very strong push higher. And the catalyst that came out on Friday definitely helped Amazon yesterday on Monday with the strong NASDAQ as well. You can see a clean break through this 3,400, which is what I was waiting to see for a potential move up into the gap fill, either up to around this 3,530 or even all the way back up to around 3,600, right around here at 3,580. So, if you're not in Amazon yet, do you just chase this thing today? I would be a little bit cautious. That's a very big day for Amazon. You can see how big this candle is and how straight up this movement was. If I go out to the hourly chart, actually, you know what? Let's go to the 4-hour. You can see here's where that gap down occurred, right? So big gap down, resistance around 34. We sold off. We got the push back higher. Now, it would be great. I don't know if we get it, but it would be great to see the move that's occurring right now, a pullback to this 3,400. If you hold that 3,400, guys, this is a good opportunity, I think, because you have previous resistance that could potentially turn into support here. This is Thinkorswim from TD Ameritrade. Pull back to 34, hold that support right here at 3,400, and then maybe get that push higher up to this gap fill. So if you're in Amazon, I think you should be bullish. I think you're in a good position, whether you're in calls, whether you're in debit spreads, maybe even credit spreads above 3,400 or something. I think this is a good idea. So keep an eye on Amazon, guys. Looking really good. I love that break of 3,400 yesterday. Let's see if it can hold it today. That would be crucial. Hold of 3,400. All right, Zoom, $299 a share. So Zoom was trying to come back to relevancy. Is trying to make its way back. Back into our portfolios. However, it looks like the news yesterday just sort of showed how they are slowing down, how growth is slowing down. Let me see what the headlines were. So, I got some price target cuts. Wow. Price target cuts from Deutsche Bank, Mizuho, who else? Bank of America keeps buy rating, adjust price target. Oh, wow. Geez, big price target change from Bank of America. 385 from 480. So, big cut there, about $100 a share. So some pretty not great things coming out about Zoom this morning. A lot of stock price cuts from some banks. And the headline on the news, I'm just trying to find it, guys, here. 1 second. Sorry. I wasn't able to read this as I was flying in yesterday. Where's the headline on here? So they beat EPS sales. They beat as well, but it looks like did they scare them with their guidance? Okay, yeah. The guided sees full year 2022 revenue for. Sorry, guys. Should have done this before, but I think they must have. If you guys know, you can just type it in real quick. But they must have guided lower. For the future growth of the company, because they're getting hit pretty bad. About $47 a share in the pre-market. That's about double the expectations. So if you are in puts on Zoom, you will definitely make some money. I think Piff, I saw you say you were in some puts. So congratulations, Piff. You've been killing it, man. And your puts should do really well today. It looks like Zoom is back down to around 303, 300. Yeah, I don't know how to put on a watermark that stays within your screen. That's the problem I'm having. So I got to figure out how to do that on OBS. Something that sort of changes along with the chart. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But this is Zoom. Yeah, it'd be nice to somehow put that on the screen, right? Unless you guys just can see up there on the top left, which might be difficult. But Zoom earnings yesterday, we are down here in the pre-market. You guys can see pretty nasty fall coming in on Zoom. This is after hours yesterday. We got some consolidation this morning, but you can see we are starting to slip once again here in the morning down to 299. 4-hour chart. Let's see if we can find any support here. 4-hour chart. If we go to there, you can see we have some support here around 303, but we are cracking below that. After that, how strong is this level here? 298s. You have 285s, and then you have some here at 270s. So you have some levels here, but I don't know. I mean, this is if future growth is getting lowered, if banks are downgrading this, you might see some pressure today. This is definitely a pretty big drop. There could be opportunity for a relief bounce. However, would I be someone trying to catch this falling knife back to the upside? Probably not. I would probably not be the one to do that. So you can watch the 298s, which it is sort of right at right now. You can watch the 285s, which is some support from back in May, and then you can watch that 270 area. So just be a little bit careful. Zoom is definitely, a stock that's had a very, very difficult time since COVID. That's when they really started to get very, very big. That's when you got those big moves on the stock. So if we go back to, let's say, 3 years, you guys can see a crazy move higher during that time. Is it warranted to be this high? I would assume not. And, if you break this 270, guys, let me just do like the doom and gloom scenario here. If you break this low here, right around 275, if you break that low, there ain't much there. I mean, you got some support in this area. This could be a very strong support hold. It definitely held in the past. So you can see this 275. But I'm going to assume that if you break this 275, this could be a pretty decent move lower here. Maybe back down to 228s. Do I dare even say this maybe falls back to 175s? Maybe even down to these lows, which is around the $80 level. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a too doom and gloom for my style. I don't know if I want to, say that that's going to happen just yet. However, that is a very strong possibility if we were to move back down to 275 and, break through some of this support. So let's see if there's any potential for a move higher, for a bounce. I would only be interested at 275 for something like that. I would not be buying this until you see some strength at this 275. If you get that 275 bounce right here, then maybe you can get a bounce. I don't know if it's going to be this high, but maybe you get some relief off that 275. So that's what I'd be watching. All right. Penn looks to be finding some resistance. As you guys know, we took a nice trade on Penn. Just want to go over this real quick. I got out of it, and the reason I got out of it is because it started to find resistance right where I was assuming, right around here. So you can see right around here, around this 85, we had some previous resistance, 1, 2, 3. We hit it again and found resistance again. So at that point, do I still want to be in this? Yeah, I think it could come back. I think it could break through over time. It could break through this 85 right here and maybe do a little bit of a retest and then move higher. However, I just caught a really nice move, and I want to take my profits. So, nice trade on Penn. Definitely respecting some resistance, and that is where my exit point is here. So, if you're still in Penn with some time, you just want to see this thing break through 85 with some strength. That's really what I'd be watching. PayPal. All right. I really like... I already went over Amazon, Zane. So, if you want to just go to the beginning of the stream once it's done... or I don't know if you can go back right now. You can go ahead and see that. Time frame on daily chart, just a 1 year, 1 day. But sometimes I'll, bring it back to 3 years if I need more time. No, 1 year, 1 day. So 1 year and then daily aggregation. All right, PayPal. Now, PayPal, I am in a position. I got into it yesterday. You guys know if you're in the chat, I'm in a PayPal call, September 24th, so I have about 3 weeks of time. And the reason I like this play, now this could not work. This could not work out. I could lose money on this, as always with every trade. It could work. It could not work out. But as of right now, I really, really like the technicals here on PayPal, and that is why I got into it. Everything about this play looks good to me. You have a very strong inverse head and shoulders here. You have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, which not only was an inverse head and shoulders, but found support at the 100 SMA. So you can see we pulled back, found beautiful support at the 100 SMA on that right shoulder, and bounced higher. Now, this was not just a bounce higher. This was a catalyst. There was a catalyst to this move higher. A strong catalyst that pushed us through 281. So a very strong push through this resistance at 281, and a strong catalyst to move higher after an inverse head and shoulders, which also came in at previous support. So you guys know I've been trying to catch this PayPal bounce. I tried to catch it here. I tried to catch it, I think I actually originally tried to catch it off this 50 SMA. You guys remember that? So I lost off this 50 SMA trying to take it here. And then I've been waiting. And I'm hoping to see if I can catch it off this bounce here. I'm looking at 298 and 300 as price targets. The reason for that is that's where that gap fill closes. And I'm assuming we'll find some resistance in this area. So this is where I'm trying to play this to. Now, I did not take PayPal at all-time highs yesterday, or not all-time highs, at high of day yesterday. I actually took it at a pretty good time. So I waited for that spike to slow down, and I waited for us to start to hold. So I got into this at 116. So 116 is right around here. So right here around 116, when I saw this retest of these previous highs, that's when I went ahead and got into PayPal. I did not take it on this rally higher. I didn't want to FOMO into this, so I waited for a little bit of a pullback, waited for it to find some support, and I am currently in this play. Now, we'll see. Can this catalyst hold up? Is this a lot of hype? Are we just going to pull back off this news? I hope to see some continuation here after this strong breakout on the daily chart. That is what I'm playing here. So strong breakout on the daily chart, looking for some continuation. I could see it giving back some. That's why I got some time. But overall, I do want to see PayPal try to continue here and hopefully hold the 50 SMA. So the 50 SMA is around 287. So that would be nice to see us hold the 287.50 SMA. So that's PayPal. I like the inverse head and shoulders. I want to see if this thing can continue. All right, Facebook. So Facebook was a great example of just a timing error on my end, right? So I got in Facebook off of this 20 SMA bounce right here, right? I got this pullback on the 20 SMA, and I got into it with about 2 weeks of time. That's not right. I'm going to zoom in here. I got in right here on the 20 SMA, looking for a push higher through highs. We started to get it. It looked very, very good. We were starting to get that very strong push here. However, it looks like the market had a little bit of a different idea, pulled back on me here over these 3 days. And with the short amount of time I had left on expiration, so the short amount of time I had on expiration, this move back higher into expiration on Friday of last week just was not enough for my ticker, or for my option, to come back strong enough to actually come back to be profitable. So I did make back almost 80%. So I was down about 80%, came back to about 20% down. So I think I made back about 60% of that contract. So I still lost about 20% on that contract last week. I moved those proceeds into this week, and it worked out very nicely. So I have some September, what is the end of this week? September 3rd, I believe, September 3rd expiration. And that is working out for sure. But if I just would have taken some September 3rd, or even some September 12th, what's the week after that? Calendar. So September 3rd, so September 10th. If I would have taken some September 10th or September 17th, then I wouldn't have really got affected by this move lower here last week, right? So that was a little bit of a timing mix-up on my end. However, the technicals were great. The 20 SMA hold was great. We ended up holding the 50 here, which was really strong as well. So Facebook moving through those highs looks fantastic here, guys. It could definitely continue if the market has some more strength. You're having a little bit of a pullback in the morning here. Nothing to be too concerned about. However, I really like this setup here. I like this Facebook hold. Very strong previous resistance turning into support here. Looks really, really nice. And this could be a very strong move on Facebook that I would definitely be watching. So I'm in some September 3rd. Hold on one second. September 3rd, 385 calls, which are, they're slightly out of the money. Came back 183% yesterday. So really nice move there on Facebook yesterday. Okay. Roku. Roku, one that I've tried to catch 2 times now, and both attempts have definitely failed. So I'm not really someone that's scared to tell you that. I've been trying to catch Roku on this bounce, and as of right now, both small attempts have failed. Now, I'm not losing my life savings. I'm not losing my whole portfolio on these attempts. As you guys may or may not know, I do trade with risk management. I don't go all in on positions. I try to take shots at the market and see if I can get some really nice trades. This was my second shot. My first shot on Roku was at this 50 SMA. It did not work out. My second shot on Roku is right around these lows. So I'm still in this trade. It's still holding the technicals that I want to see. I have a great entry. I am slightly down of it just because of time decay. But I do like to see, I'm starting to like what I'm seeing here. And the reason I say that is because if I go to the MACD, which I do look at time to time to see, where the momentum's starting to shift. We can see here on the MACD that if you zoom in closely, you're definitely starting to get a decrease in selling pressure, right? So you have this big sell-off, big every day selling, increasing day over day. And you can see over the last about 2 weeks, that is definitely starting to slow down. And yesterday was actually the first candle to make a green MACD bar there, and it's starting to cross over. So do we get a crossover like we did maybe back in May and get a move higher? Do we start to get some buying into this name with NASDAQ at new highs? I'm very surprised to not see any reaction here on Roku. So am I catching something that could be huge here, or am I just going crazy? I don't know. I personally think that I am early to a very big move potentially here on Roku. It is really slowing down. The NASDAQ is still holding up. It's hitting new all-time highs. So could Roku play some sympathy in the coming weeks? I'm not 100% sure. However, this is definitely an area that I would be willing to take a risk on it, because at this point, I think the slowing or the bleeding is slowing down. I no longer think you are catching a falling knife here on Roku. Buying it here, that seems a little bit more of a falling knife. Buying it after about 2 weeks of consolidation and support and a MACD that's starting to show some strength, I don't think you're buying a falling knife here. So if there's any, if I like to put on small risk here, if I'm wrong, I'll lose a few $100. If I'm right, this could be a very nice move on Roku. The last thing I'll show you here is the weekly chart. The weekly chart is showing to find some support here at the 50 SMA. So if we get that 50 SMA hold like we did back here, this could be a nice move on the weekly chart. So that's what we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I'm not 100% sure. But we will have to watch Roku and see if this works out for me. And that is all I have to say. Spotify. Daily chart. So if you guys Robinhood, yesterday Robinhood, they announced that they may ban payment for order flow, which is basically the entire business of Robinhood. So that is not good for Robinhood if they ban payment for order flow. Spotify, daily chart. Very strong. You guys, if you come to the live streams, we talked about this low here. I talked about how a lot of the members were getting into this. So congratulations, guys. If you're in this, very nice move. Pushing higher yesterday, big push higher. At this point, I think that you will see spot back towards this 50 and 100 SMA or this downtrend. So if I zoom in here real quick, you can see how there is some probably pretty big resistance approaching here, right? So you have the 50 SMA, the 100 SMA, and a big downtrend that it is starting to approach. So you could start to be hitting some resistance in this area. However, this is a very nice bounce off this level. I wanted to show you this just as more of a, not as a recommendation to get into it, because I think you are, a little bit in the move, or maybe a little bit late on this move if we're buying it right now. But this is just a good analysis to look at, a good little charting formation to look at, to see if you can catch these in the future. So nice little double bottom, nice little downtrend. If you were looking at this chart prior to this move, you could say, okay, I like the double bottom. I like this bullish confirmation. And maybe I can trade this back up to this uptrend like we were talking about last week, 2 weeks ago. So very nice. Just wanted to show that to you guys on spot. It's working out as we were talking about, and a very nice little recap to see, how these technical levels could hold up. All right. So I see some of you asking for Futu. I've seen that a few times. I will put that on the list. But I do have some names from some of the members, from the members here that I need to go over first. So the first one is Tesla. Tesla baby from Devin. I'll go ahead and take a look at that. If you could, before I get into it, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. If you guys could press that like button, that would be great. All right. So let's go ahead and get into Tesla. I do want to look at CrowdStrike too, actually. Yeah. Let me take a look at CrowdStrike. I'll put that on the list here. So I can't see. Futu, CrowdStrike. Whoops. My coffee's in the way. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into Tesla. Now, Tesla, very strong support hold. What I really like here, if I go to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see that this was a beautiful break and retest that held up very nicely. So we held up here, right? So we started to get that hold at 700, right? 700, held it, cracked through it. Cracked through it pretty nasty. But where did we find support? At the uptrend. Uptrend support held beautifully. We moved back higher. Now, before we made a big move, what did we do after we made that move through 700? We retested it. So you guys can see this green box around $700 a share was strong resistance that has turned into some crazy, crazy support. And look at the move that we are getting right now. Now, one thing to remember is we are still sort of at these highs. So this previous high was 729. This high of this candle right here, this candle right here on the 13th of August was $729.90. Now, if we go to the hourly chart, right here is where 729.90 is. That is the high of the previous candle that we did get through yesterday. However, we are pulling back towards that level right now. So, can we turn the previous resistance here of 729 right here, 729.90? This is the high of this candle. If I zoom in here, the high of this candle right here, 729.90. Can we turn that into support today? Are we going to pull back to that? You guys can see there is some clear respect of this level on the market. I'm not just making this number up. How do I say it? How do I know? Because look at this and look at this. Look at the wicks that came in here at exactly 729.90, 730, I guess you could call it as well. So that 730 or 729.90 whole number there is clearly resistance that we did break through later in the after hours yesterday, just about the after hours. Now, are we going to pull back to it, and are we going to hold it? If we hold this at market open, if you get a hold of 730 at market open, maybe you can get this continuation on Tesla. If you get that 730 hold and continuation on Tesla, there is definitely some opportunity here back up to 750s and 770s. You guys know that I've been talking about this on the live stream and just saying, wait for the break of 725. Just wait for the break of 725 right around here. Wait for that break. Wait for that clean movement, and then try to take a trade. So at this point, if we got that 725 break, if we can hold these highs today at 729.90 or 730 and get a beautiful little retest off of it, you guys can see right here, this could be a very, very nice trade on Tesla. So let's see if we can hold 730 today. That is what I would be watching, Devin, on Tesla today. XOM, the next request here on the log. XOM. Daily chart. So XOM, you guys can clearly see, has found support here multiple times around 54. For whoever asked, you didn't put your name, so I don't know who this was that asked for this chart. But XOM, nice support here at 54. However, I don't like to trade XOM on technicals as much as other names because it is definitely correlated to oil and gas, and oil futures. So, /CL, the oil futures is something to watch if you're trading XOM. I haven't seen many updates on on updates about supply. I have to read more into it. However, if you are trading XOM, you need to be educated on what's going on with Lava Girl. You need to be a little bit aware of what's going on with oil. Are they, there are production cuts coming? Are there supply increases coming? I don't stay up to date too much on that, so it's hard for me to give you a fundamental review of oil and XOM because it's definitely affected by it. If anyone has any updates in the chat, feel free to just drop a quick update if there's any news about shortages or a slow in demand or slow in supply or an increase in supply. Hurricane hurt supply. Yeah, I did see news on. I just saw that. So maybe you can play it off that. Maybe you play it off that. You'll just wait to see if there's any price action difference, Lava Girl. Just don't just buy into it just because of that. Wait to see if there's a clear and obvious move that comes because of that. On the technical side, I would say watch this 54.55. See if that holds. That is a very nice little support in the past. OPEC is today. Okay, yeah, I actually failed to look at that today. Let me see. 1 second, guys. So, OPEC might be today. I don't have it on here, but just see when the next OPEC is. Oil is reaching $70 a barrel. Yeah, so Lava, just definitely be aware of what's going on with oil futures. And also just be aware of this technical hold here at 55, and maybe you get a breakout of this downtrend. However, like I said earlier, I do not like trading XOM just off technicals because it is very correlated to what's going on with oil, and you can chart out a beautiful formation, and they could say that they could agree to reduce oil production by 40%, and obviously the price would go up. If maybe you were charting something to the downside, maybe you're looking for a 54 break here to play some put options, and they come out and say, yeah, we're going to cut oil production by 40%, and this thing rallies higher, and your technical analysis just does not matter, right? Yeah. I don't trade cash secured puts right now. I'm building a portfolio right now, at my age, just continuing to build a portfolio, and hopefully with the goal of down the line to have enough cash have enough cash and shares of companies to run the wheel, to do cash secured puts, covered calls. At this point in time, I'm not doing that. However, what I'm doing is just putting, money every single week into a long-term portfolio so that hopefully down the line, when I grow that portfolio to a large amount over time, obviously will be, years down the line, I can go ahead and do that as, that retirement strategy, right? I think, the cash secured puts and covered calls, I think is a great strategy. I think it's an even better strategy for your later years if you can build a huge portfolio, let's say, $500,000 portfolio, a few hundred K, maybe if you're, make good money, maybe even $1 million portfolio. If you can start running some cash secured puts, covered calls on a portfolio with $1 million, you are definitely going to be pulling in some great weekly income, which is relatively low risk. So that's my plan. That's my goal. Just continue to save, continue to invest in a long-term portfolio so that in my future years, I can set myself up to run a strategy like that, Stock Boy. So that's my answer to your question there. Next. Fiverr. FVRR. Fiverr. So this was another one that was called out in the chat. ADR, if you're watching, I don't know if you watch these, but shout out to you. Very nice call out on FVRR. And we were talking about this previously in the chat as well. We were waiting to see if fiber could break above this 184. You guys can see right here, 184. If we break through this 184, there's a huge gap opportunity on this stock. This is definitely one to watch. You can see we did find a little bit of resistance here on this name right here yesterday at 184. So you can see right here, you can see you're finding resistance here at 184. If we can break here and start to get a very strong move higher, then I think you have some big move here. You have a big gap on this daily chart. Look at this move. You can all the way move this up to 225. So that is what I would be watching right here on FVRR. Watch to see if this thing can move higher, 184. If this can push higher, you have some very nice opportunity here. This daily chart looks great. You have this strong support here at 160s right here. Support. If you break this, you have a huge gap up. This is almost 20% to the upside. So that's very nice. So FVRR, I like that. You can either get in now as an aggressive entry, looking for a 184 break. If you get it, great. You're going to be up a ton. Or you can wait for the break and retest maybe and then get in here. Either way, I like the opportunity that it's showing there for sure. WWE. This is one that I have not looked at in, I don't know if I've ever looked at this stock. So WWE, first of all, not sure really about this stock in general, about its fundamental. I definitely don't watch WWE, but as of right now on the weekly chart, you are getting a little bit of a break and retest, so that is something to look at. You have this 50 or 45 level. You found support off of it here, and you're finding support off of it again. If you go to the daily chart, you can see we are bouncing off of that level here. If I go to the daily chart, let's grab like 3 years of time. Zoom out a little bit so you guys can see we are making a little bit of a retest here on WWE right here. You guys can see that resistance, support. So maybe you get a push higher. Maybe you get a push higher. Maybe you get a push into into these 58s, but this one's a little tough. You're definitely in some resistance here. So be careful on a stock like this. Small cap stock, not really sure how it moves. So sorry, YT. This one's a little bit difficult. However, see if this can hold this 58, this 48. See if it can break above this 52. If it can, maybe you can get a push, back into this gap up to 55s. That'd probably be what I'm watching there. Snap. I've been looking for Snap to do, sort of what it's doing now. However, this move was just way too slow. I was looking for a quick move back down to this gap fill, maybe back to 64s or even back to where it's coming back to now, 70s. You guys can see that it is starting to hold this $70 previous resistance turning into support. So right here, you had previous resistance, and it's no surprise that it's turning that right into support here on Snap. You're bouncing off of it. You're just sort of stuck in this. You're sort of stuck in this range now. So is Snap a trade that I would be taking at this point? Not really, guys. And the reason I say that is because what's the play here? You're either playing it up to this resistance or playing it down to this support. This is a difficult area to trade a stock because you don't know which way this is going to go. You have it trading in a pretty strong channel, and at this point, I don't know if it goes up, if it goes down. I don't know where that goes. And wow, I just realized it's 9 o'clock. So that is definitely going to be the last one there, guys. Sorry, I just realized it's 9. So someone just wrote mRNA in here. I'll do that real quick. Snap, I probably wouldn't touch it. Be careful there. mRNA, really nice resistance here at mRNA around 406. This is held multiple times, and support is down here at 357. So this is another one, mRNA. Just be careful. You're in a range. I don't know which way it goes. Just watch. If you're trading to the upside, watch for the top breakout. If you're trading to the downside, watch for the support break, and you can trade that back down. But it is 9 o'clock, and I did not know that. And that is time for me to get into the Discord chat. So if you guys could, before you leave, I mean, there's 580 people watching, and only 2 something amount of people like it. So that's a little discouraging. So maybe we'll have to cut down the time even more. You guys, hopefully, you guys can press that like button for me if you're watching. There's really no reason not to. So press the like button if you want. That would be really awesome. Help me out. Help me grow the channel. Help me grow the live streams. I appreciate you guys for being here. Shout out to our sponsor of the stream, MSI, for supplying me with some awesome trading gear, the keyboard, the mouse, the Trident X platform with a 2080 Super graphics card, which is pretty badass. Just looking at the performance versus my 3080 or my 3060, crazy. So thank you to MSI for the 2080 Super, really nice graphics card, which has made it a very clean experience for gaming and some other browsing and trading. So with that said, subscribe to the channel. I'll be here all week. I'm back. Time to grind. So thank you guys again, and I will see you in the Discord if you are in there. If you want to join the Discord, it is the first link down in the description below. That is, where we trade live every day. Right here, we have everyone trading, talking about this morning, getting ready for the day, and we go live on voice chat every day. So thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.